out here. By the way, these are all really good runners. You don't just get to walk up to the starting line here in Boston.
No, you have to qualify, and you have to run very fast to get here. So, yeah, the people here have put in the work. And, you know, this has been not such an easy winter for many of them. So it's been a lot of time on the treadmills and really kind of focusing in on this race.
It's a beautiful sight.
Saw a guy go by in a 12 Patriots jersey. I don't think that's Tom Brady. You see a number 2, it might be Brian Hoyer, but I don't think so. This is, to borrow from the president, the head of the BAA, Jack Fleming. This is America's original marathon. It is a race that is both revered and renowned, and these people are a part of it.
Yeah.
Right? You can go play golf courses where they hold golf majors, and you go, well, listen, I hit a Tiger Woods dip. But you don't get to play it on the same day that those guys get to play. You're running the same course on the same day as Eliud Kipchoge. And that's an amazing thing about this sport and about these events, Matt.
Absolutely. I mean, this is, you know, you can't play with Tom Brady, can't play with Tiger Woods, or you can't play Michael Jordan, but Kipchoge is one of those guys, and those people, 30,000 people will be on the pavement of Kipchoge, who's paving for, and he's doing a great job.
30,000 people, they got to go ways because these are narrow streets when you get started, right? This is a tight little spot right there. Look at that, it's 2 lanes. You can't pass there. The line, it's a double yellow line. So as they get started there on their journey here from Hopkinton into Boston, we go back to Amanda. We go back to the women's race, mile 16. So we're getting close to the hills now for Susanna Scaroni. How much is that in your head, the first 16, 17 miles, Amanda, that we know that we're getting to the Newton Hills?
So even with Susanna's stop to fix her wheel, she's doubled her lead on the pack behind her, and that's only going to be good things for her. You start the race out, you know the hills are coming, but you can't race for the hills at the end because you've got athletes like Marcel, Susanna, Manuela, who are going to hit those first hills hard and take them down as fast as they can. So you're waiting for the climbs, you're ready for the climbs, but you can't save for them.
Marcel Hoog on the left, he's up, as we said, nearly 6 minutes as he went through 25K. We talk about 26.2 miles, right? It's 42.185K?
195.
195. So it's 42K as we go through. So, Amanda, that looks to me like a guy who's hurting. Really between the wheelers and the elite racers we'll see when they come through here. You get to the top of these hills, the downhills are great because you can coast where, Carrie Tulson, if you're running, you go down those hills, man, your quads are searing.
They are screaming. And, you know, if you go too fast, too early, you're going to feel them again after the Newton Hills, and that is a deal breaker.
And there's the men's professional race. How much is too much respect that I can pay to Eliud Kipchoge in this race? If you're running with him, can you be too deferential?
You know, he can't be too differential, but at the same time, this is where he is dictating the pace, and consistently for 37s, they just went about 4 miles at 18:26. You can see the group just got smaller and smaller, and is now to be able to just be in somebody's mind. Everybody knows each other's strengths and weaknesses at this point, and you don't want to be falling apart from this group because you want to hold on for as long as you can.
And 4 minutes and 37 per mile is exactly the pace that he ran when he won when he set the world record in Berlin at 2:01:09. 4:37, 26 times.
And
I mean this in the nicest way. That's stupid. we got some Minnesotans in there.
No, we definitely do. We got two of them at least, but Megan Christian right now, she's out in the lead. You know, she's had a great year running many marathons. I think maybe this is her 5th marathon in 2022 and now in the early part of 2023. And she is a sub 2:30 marathoner. So she's keeping this pace honest. You know, we aren't seeing like we are on the men's side, this real aggressive pace. But when you are in this kind of a pack where you do know that you have such, you know, great in that pack, you still need to run to win, but you also are running your own race, and I think people were and that's what's happening right here. They're focusing on other people and not necessarily the pace or who's leading.
Having a deep group, that's what it means. You got to be able to study each other and who's going to make the first move. So you kind of just cautiously studying each other.
For the first time, we're seeing Amane Bariso. She's the fastest woman in this field by 3 minutes. She's got a 2:14 marathon PB, and she is one of the athletes that everyone is watching to see if she can run close to what she's run before in 2:14.
And they came through the first 5K in 17:48, and that's not going to wear anybody out. So that's why that pack is probably just kicked through yet. 58:52. I feel like since it's hydrating and taking a bit of a break, we will as well from the booth and go back to Ed and Maria.
All right, John. So if you didn't know, Boston Marathon is held on Patriot.
for the first time in Boston after so many races and close finishes. Bottom left, men's professional race. There's Eliud Kipchoge and a bunch of guys who are not Eliud Kipchoge. Great credentials, but not them. Amanda, go ahead, try to inject some drama in this for me.
Looks like the roads are dry. Marcel is really comfortable. The pack behind him has fallen apart, and that's a really interesting story there too. We've got Daniel Romachuk in third with a relative newcomer, Jesse Platt, ahead of him, who's a two-time gold medalist in para-triathlon. But Marcel is just cruising here. He looks super comfortable. He's still on pace for a course record. We're looking at 1:17.44 right now. If he can hold the pace he's on right now, he will smash that course record and set a new world's best time.
So he's racing the clock, is what you're telling me.
Marcel took off to race the clock. I think he thinks about that more than anything else out there. He's not concerned about his competitors. He's got a time he wants to hit, and he's going to do it. If you can stick with him, good luck.
And I'm sure there's some want to, because a year ago he withdrew from this race with illness like 60 minutes before the start. So that tells you that he wrestled with that decision before he made it.
Absolutely. And he has been undefeated since 2021. He is dominant right now. Holds world records over every event from the 400 all the way up, and has been absolutely unbeaten since Daniel took him in a sprint finish in Chicago.
He is so dominant that when I quizzed him on some of the wins he had in the world, he had no idea how many he had in each of these cities. Great to have live action here at the 127th Boston Marathon. Marcel Hug, an hour and 10 minutes in, the great Swiss, the silver bullet, powering his way towards the finish line here in Boston. He has continued through Ashland, through Framingham, Natick, Wellesley, Newton, and Brookline and Boston remain. He'll get to come down Boylston Street. He's done it before, but I imagine each time is fantastic. You see really wet pavement there. There's Susanna's here. How much do I have to watch? If I'm Hug, how much do I have to make sure I don't mess this up on the wet pavement on the way in?
Absolutely, that is the factor for Marcel right now. He can't make any mistakes. If he makes a mistake, if he slips on the pavement, if he takes a bad turn, he's going to lose his chance at a course record here. He's at 3:08 per mile for his last mile. That was mile 23, and that's a really solid pace. Susanna looks like she's continuing. She's smooth. She's climbing well. She's still in dry pavement right now, so she doesn't have to worry about that just quite yet.
Now, the beauty of this for Hug is that even if some disaster should be falling, he's got time to change tires and do a lot of other things when he comes through here. He's through the hard part, right? When they go through Kenmore Square, I don't know if they saw it, but there's some railroad tracks that Eliud Kipchoge is going to kind of have to watch his step. But you really have to watch your chair, because that is
your wheels stuck in them, and you'll go down, take whoever is with you down as well. But Marcel, he's cruising, he's comfortable. You can see he's picked up his pace a little bit. His arms are moving a little bit faster. He knows he's close to the record, and he wants that record.
Well, you can see he is dug in here. That is not a guy that is coasting to the finish. That is a guy who is powering to the finish.
On the women's side, Susanna's still running a good pace as well. She was 1:35.08 at 18 miles. That's a 3:40 pace. She's going sub 4-minute miles, even through the hills.
And listen, I would think in her case, much like the other one, any record would be nice, but if you've never won this race and you've had so many close finishes, let me just get to the tape.
Absolutely. This is not nearly as much about the time for Susanna. This will be a big win for her in a very strong field, and this is an absolutely dominant performance.
Yes, we said this is the 9th time that she's been here, and she has so much experience in these World Marathon majors. When she finally cracked through last year to win at Chicago and then followed that up, stamps her certainly to some degree, at least in the current time, maybe not historically, but in the current time. She is now Char's hoping, as Amanda touched, hopefully they know the way.
Absolutely. He knows, though. He's going to keep his head up this time. He knows he can make a wrong turn if he follows them off the course. Just past 25 miles, and he looks really, really comfortable.
Yeah, they go down under an underpass, and then it's just the 1 mile left.
He's pulled his projected finish from low 117s down to the high 116s. If he can hit that, he is going to break his own course record by over a minute. He will be the first man in a wheelchair to go sub 117 over 26 miles, which is incredible. That's amazing.
Another barrier. This first wheelchair race here in Boston came in 1975, so this is the 49th running. Just for a little comparison's sake, and I realize it's different days, Daniel Romanchuk last year won here in 1:26:58. And Hoog is about to just explode past that number.
Absolutely. The wind, the conditions, the weather, they all play huge, huge factors in the wheelchair race, as we mentioned earlier. And this is the perfect day for Marcel. Light wind, cool weather, and he came out confident.
He's come through. He's rolled 1:17:47 is his world record. And I don't know how closely we keep barriers, Amanda. Like, I feel like 120 would be a great barrier. I don't know, is 117, is that, do we get to bronze him after this?
You know, I'm not even sure anyone knew that was possible.
Okay.
This sport is moving so quickly. Technology is advancing, training techniques are advancing. All of this is continuing to improve because wheelchair racing's not that old. Racing chairs designed this way with 3 wheels have only existed since the early 90s.
No, 8 minutes behind, excuse me, at the last 5. Getting some cheers as he comes through the streets in Boston. He is in 6th place. And now the turn.
And he is cruising. Another huge thing to mention if we're talking about barriers and equality for this wheelchair division is the equal prize bonus for breaking that course record. Boston was one of the first races to put that into effect. And this is a big thing when we're talking about equality of these divisions.
First place here will pay $25,000. There is a $50,000 time bonus. That'll make you chase your clock.
Absolutely, and he knows he has it. He knew from the start that this was his goal. Look how confident he is coming across the finish line here.
Yep, he has just a few 100 meters to go to championship number 6. Give that man his medal. Boston Marathon champ one more time and in record-setting style.
Marcel Hoog, 2023 Boston Marathon champion. This is his 6th championship here in Boston.
Honor of the champion, Marcel Hoog.
Marcel Hoog's unofficial finishing time is 1:17:06. That is smashing his former record here by almost a minute.
By the way, yeah, and by the way, if we have to correct that up or down a second, like, I don't know that I'm unimpressed any less by that. That's amazing. Amazing run. So we'll let him gather himself, and we will visit with him soon after that phenomenal performance. And we go back to the elite races as it has begun to rain on the men out on the course and the women in the elite fields. The men have gone through 10K. They're got to be coming through pretty soon here for 15K. Man, they've slowed a bunch. I say they've slowed a bunch, and we're talking 4:46 for mile 5, 4:41 for mile 6, and 4:52 for mile 7. So it's not quite as froggy as we had previously. And Carrie, we still have a bunch of ladies interested in the fight here.
We definitely do. I mean, look at that pack right now, and you can see a bunch of our Americans where she likes to be, running her own race. You know, you can see Annie Frisbee in there as well, but right up front, we are looking at Maureen Chepkamoy. This is her first time running in the U.S. and also the first time running in a World Marathon Majors. And she's been leading the charge for a long time. On her shoulder there is Lorna Salpeter. She is third from the World Championship. She was second at the New York City Marathon. She really wants a win. She wants a number one.
Yes.
She's had a lot of podiums. She wants a number one.
There's the women's wheelchair champion in waiting. Although she's fighting through some final hills there, Susanna Scaroni will have the finish of the women's wheelchair. Amanda will take us through that with insight and expertise when we return here to the 127th Boston Marathon.
AG1 by Athletic Greens gives you the daily nutrients that form the foundation for your health routine. It's made with the highest quality ingredients, put through the strictest quality testing standards, so everybody can own their health. Start your journey at athleticgreens.com.
It's Pod's biggest sale of the year. Save up to 30% on moving and storage until April 17th. And see why Pods has been trusted with over 6 million moves nationwide. Save up to 30% now until April 17th. Visit pods.com today.
You're looking pleased with yourself.
Not to brag, but I just switched to Verizon.
So you've got an awesome network.
And when I switched, I got to choose
iPhone 14 on us. This is Premier Card. It's made for people.
The Lord is fresh beans for you.
The 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000. Stand and keep making smart ideas.
Sunday on ESPN.
127th Boston Marathon. Amanda McGrory, as exciting and as fun as it looks when you are coasting downhill, this part just looks brutal.
It is grueling. The great thing about wheelchair racing is we do get a recovery down those hills. You can shake your arms out a little bit, you can roll down the hill, you can recover a little bit, but it's not enough to be ready for this. And Susanna is hurting. She's through 20 miles, so we're getting close to the end here, but she has such a big gap, 3 minutes ahead of defending champion Manuela Schär. I think that she can afford to struggle a little bit here. She doesn't necessarily have to be at her best to keep that gap.
What does she have today that Schär's missing on this day?
Susanna's strength, and it has always been her strength, is that she grinds. She wants to push as hard as she can. She has grit. She wants to go, and she wants to test herself and see how fast she can go. She hasn't had the skill. She hasn't had the strength to really capitalize on that yet. But right now, she's untouchable, and she is going to work harder than anyone else out there. She's still on a 3:44 pace, which is
also a difficult race in these conditions, and to do this fast time on this course in these conditions is, for me, it's incredible.
Okay, yes, I have to talk about the fast time, 1:17:06. So you blew away your own course record by a minute. How at one point did you have over a 7-minute lead on this kind of competition, Marcel?
I don't know. Just try to go hard from the beginning, as hard as possible, and see what's possible in these conditions. But yeah, 7 minutes, it's a lot. Yeah.
Okay, he's so humble about it. That's a lot. Talk to me about the hardest part of the race. Obviously, we know the hills, but the hills combined with these conditions, and we were talking about it on the race while watching you. Next, your resume continues to get more and more impressive. Obviously, you need to absorb this, and I hope you enjoy it. But then, what's next for you? Next Sunday?
Yeah, next Sunday.
Time champion here at the Boston Marathon. Thank you. Congrats again.
When you ask what's next, I'm like, she's getting ready to come down Boylston Street and get her first championship at the Boston Marathon. We're back with the conclusion of that fantastic race when we return here on ESPN2 and WCVB.
26.2 miles that push you to the limit of what's possible. To prove that at our healthiest, there's no telling how far we can go. Join Abbott as we celebrate the runners of the Boston Marathon, one of the premier races of the Abbott World Marathon Majors, because wherever we are on life's journey, with good health, we are unstoppable. Greatness is tested. It's playoffs time. The NBA playoffs Friday on
or have trouble hearing conversations. Revolutionary Neo hearing aids for just The Neo is a true hearing aid, not an superior to more expensive models. Call now and get not one. Plus, we'll add in a portable charging dock and ship your order design, and you can get 2 Neo hearing aids and free lifetime US-based support for only $299.
Again, that's 800-791-0481.
Back here on the 127th Boston Marathon, a look at the men's and women's professional fields right there, and still quite a pack of the men as they went through 43:56 for 15K, which was just off the course record by about 8 seconds, at least the pace at the time by Geoffrey Mutai. Women's professional race is out there and riding along on course in the elements with the women's professional race and elite runners is Naoko Funiyama, longtime Boston reporter, member of the WCVB sports team. She is on our team. And honestly, Naoko, I thought we'd have more people for you to keep track of at this point. How's it going?
It's going great here. They're about 10 miles into the race.
Great. You
They've got really good body language, very relaxed. Out of the gate very, very fast because of the fact that 15 of these runners have a personal best of under 2 hours and 21 minutes. So, I mean, this is a very stacked field. But when I spoke to Amani Bariso a couple of days ago, she said she hopes the pace isn't too fast coming out of the gate because she wants to gradually build up. And that's exactly what she's done as the leader of the pack for a good portion of this most recent part of the race, John.
Thank you, Nowco. As we keep
5:08.
track of that as we go through, women kind of surged there in mile 7. They went for 5:08. Riding shotgun with our elite men's field, WCVP reporter, longtime Boston sports observer, covering this race more than a dozen times, Josh Brogadier. Josh, just give us a feel for what you've got here. Listen, you got nothing but alpha dogs right there running in front of you.
Alpha Dogs is a good way to describe it, John. We've got a pack of 12 here, of course, led by Eliud Kipchoge. Who else? But I'm very impressed by CJ Albert. The entire time. Of course, he led for 18 miles last year. We're approaching Wellesley. I don't hear that scream tunnel yet, but I did run for a little while with members of the Wellesley Blue track and field team. They said they wanted to come out and watch the elite runners. They were going to get up early before all the screaming started to enjoy it. And we can certainly enjoy this along with them on this race. John?
Thank you. Yeah, it's going to get loud and it gets lusty when they get over the Wellesley, which will be nice. There you see the men's elite race. Meb, I'm sorry I cut you off to get to Nowco. You were saying as they went through the 10K mark.
10-mile mark.
10 miles.
There's about 10 or 12 of them. Went out 47.18. Slowed down a little bit to 4:56, which is about 2:04:01 pace, which is great.
You get the sense that they're still kind of running. Nobody's raced yet.
No, nobody has raced yet. They're still watching each other, but I think they'll be. They just went through Wesley, and we're looking forward to make probably a big move coming up.
One of the favorite things that I've heard coming into this race is CJ Albertson describing how he does his downhill training. His treadmill does not do -2%, which you need on this course. So he puts bricks underneath his treadmill to pound on those quads. And another thing I've heard is the great Dick Beardsley used to pound his quads in training afterwards to see if that would help. He doesn't have any science behind it. And if anyone knows Dick Beardsley, they know this is kind of fun. But the way that these guys train, and it's no surprise to see CJ Albertson up there with Kipchoge.
I know that Dick Beardsley needed to find 2 more seconds.
He did.
In the great race with Alberto Salazar.
Yes, he did.
Back in 1983, right? They ran 2:08:52 and 2:08:54, I believe is what they came through in that wonderful race there. And, there's nothing to lead me to believe, Meb, in looking at that picture, that Kipchoge's uncomfortable in the least.
No, he is looking perfect. His form is just right and in control. As you described him earlier, the alpha man is in control and looks great, and his stride looks absolutely incredible, and those other guys are taking his lead.
See Evans Chibet over on the right side, the defending champ. His teammate Benson Kipruto is there as well. Is there a way those two guys can work together, Meb, to try and maybe wear down Kipchoge, his teammates?
You know, as I was competing, those Kenyans and Ethiopians, sometimes they speak Amharic or Swahili, but the Kenyans are contingent all over there. So, yes, they will work together, but the question is when.
Love that we absolutely pointed out, so you know, Eliud Kipchoge, because he's the guy you want to know, running in the States for the first time since 2014 when he won in Chicago, and he said, I am just happy to put my feet in the streets of Boston. And he has been an unbelievable ambassador for Boston since he came a little early. But this guy has been mobbed everywhere he's gone since he's been in town. He's got a phalanx of security just because
the attention that people kind of connected with me. He didn't even start Hopkinton, and he was already mobbed. He's such an icon, a great leader, and an amazing legend for the sport and ambassador from globally. And that's why everybody, him running under 2 hours made him who he is, and people just want to get a picture or time with him.
And he's coming through the Scream Tunnel with the Wellesley and all the students there at Wellesley. I'm just letting that wash over us a little bit. It is loud, and they love it. Ed and Maria, these are your people.
Well, there's a reason why it's loud, John. This is a tradition that goes back decades. We call it the Wellesley Scream Tunnel.
And just listen to them. I mean, and there's no script, there's no cue card being held up and said, scream, everyone. They just scream. This is at Wellesley College, which is right at the entrance, right on the line between Natick and Wellesley. As soon as you get into Wellesley, it's right near the halfway. Than pass through, it's a tunnel of noise, the hoots and hollers. The students offer high fives. I didn't see any kisses right there as they went through, but obviously this is the elite group. Wait till the other runners go through. Stand by for that. Kisses, sometimes that's not even enough. Runners get some added inspiration from handmade signs of encouragement. The students show off it too. It's a little lifter as you hit the halfway point, guys.
Meb, did you ever sneak off and get a kiss there, or did the Scream Tunnel?
I did not do the kiss, but however you remember the sound of there is just a thrill to be there and give them thumbs up, pump the chest. It's exciting, it's very enthusiastic people and want to just make you want to go faster.
You didn't go by and give a kiss, but my husband sure did.
Charlie got in there?
He did.
And you're not mad, you're done with
I'm not mad at him. You go for it. This is a once-in-a-lifetime deal.
Chuck's a handsome man.
He is.
Probably had a lot of suitors along the way when he comes through there. Kipchoge right out in front, which is what the people that came to see this race want to see. Trying to add Boston to his resume to go with Tokyo, London, Berlin, Chicago. We're going to go back out to Josh, and I'm just going to hope he can hear me in this because it's loud up there. Josh?
I can hear you at this point, although we're going through Wellesley Center now, just through that Scream Tunnel. The energy level was incredible. And I should point something out. You might even be able to see rain on my lens. We've got a steady drizzle right now as we're coming through here. It has not stopped these crowds from enjoying this moment and seeing this pack come through. You're all talking about how great Eliud looks. I agree with you, but I think there are 11 other runners with him who also look very strong right now. At some point, maybe he bursts ahead, but as of right now,
I'm going to get into all the rules of it. Boston records are not things that could be considered world records or world best, but certainly the time is the time when you put it down. And 2:03 and change is the fastest ever run here in the United States. Kipchoge and the rest.
What a great run for the Americans here. CJ Alperson and Connor Mintz be able to be there, it's just ride the wave. This is what is happening, and to be in the same course, same pace at Kipchoge, it gives them a thrill of a lifetime.
Mance is in the back of that pack, but he's still right there. He had a great debut marathon in Chicago, second fastest time ever by an American in a debut. He would like to get under 2:08 for sure. Take a look at the 3 box. Marcel Hoog's a champ. Who's going to join him with the elite men, the elite women? Next across the line is going to be Susan Scaroni. We know she's going to get her laurel wreath. That's coming up when we come back.
The first time you made a sale online. Start an easy-to-build, powerful website.
The Chase Inc. Business Premier Card.
They order fresh beans for you.
Oh, geez. 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more.
Plus unlimited 2% cash back.
Biggest sale of the year. Save up to 30% on moving and nationwide. Save up to 30%
Buying an annuity? Before you do, get the little notes. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuity do's and don'ts for baby boomers. It reveals the 5 terms. Call now and get your free copy. Don't make the all seniors, boomers, and those approaching retirement should know to as a bonus for those who call, we'll give you our free providers. Supplies are limited. Call and get your
Boston Marathon. The men's elite race and the women's elite race, they've got some time. So we're going to concentrate on the women's wheelchair, where Susanna Scaroni, in her 9th try, is about to win the Boston Marathon. Amanda, is there any potential between now and the finish line that could derail this thing?
You know, she has such a gap on the rest of the field. She's up over a mile. She could slow down. She could push one-handed across the finish line, and I think that she's still got this. And this is really her strength. Grit, how she loves to do this. And in the 5K on Saturday morning, and they sprinted across the line to come in ahead of her. That's how fast she is. She's out there and she really, really just wants to test herself and to test the
come through. I mean, this has got to be really no stress. Because usually, Amanda, when you say I won by a mile, like that's hyperbole, right?
This is a literal.
She's going to win by a mile.
Absolutely. And it's so funny because she texted me this morning and said, I don't know if I'm feeling it today. And clearly, she is feeling it today. She went off hard from the start.
Or good Lord, if she's not feeling it.
Absolutely. Who knows what she's capable of when she is feeling great.
Listen, give me the difference. She was the runner-up in 2022. Like, it's only one spot from second to first. But just the difference that is in your life and what it can mean.
You know what? For someone like Susanna, who has been on this circuit for so long and has been trying to get these wins for such a long time, to win her first Boston, to win her 3rd major, this is so huge. She's going to be absolutely over the moon, especially because she didn't think she was strong enough. She didn't think she had it in her today.
I mean, her career is just nothing but top 5s. And then in the last year, starting in Chicago and New York and now here, finally that top step of the podium.
Absolutely. It took her a little bit longer to break through, but when she did, she was ready. She was experienced. She knew the courses. She knew her strengths. She knew her competitors. And she's here. She is a serious force to contend with.
And she'd won marathons before. She'd won in Los Angeles a couple of times. I love people in Duluth. She'd won grandmas. But this is a different level. level. There's a reason they call them platinum races.
There is. The fields here, the level of competition that you get here is it's like no other race. And Boston is the race. All around the world, even people who don't run marathons know the Boston Marathon. So to be able to call yourself the Boston Marathon champion is huge. And here she is, all alone, by herself. Not a chance anyone else is going to catch her.
She has only got a few hundred meters more. Means she's only got to pass one more Dunkin' Donuts.
You can see it. You can see the smile on her face. She knows she has it.
Hey, you don't need me. I'm going to let this wash over me, and I'm going to let you call your friend home as she wins the Boston Marathon. Take it.
So excited.
Amanda, give me the sense of both the exhaustion and the exhilaration in that moment.
When you finish a race like that, when you come through, when you break the tape,
Nothing but top fives. And then in the last year, starting in Chicago and New York, and now here, she was that top step of the podium.
Absolutely. It took her a little bit longer to break through, but when she did, she was ready. She was experienced. She knew the courses.
This is a different level. There's a reason they call them platinum races.
There is. The fields here, the level of competition